6:30 and we live, man. It's your boy Earl of Pearl. These were short. Sorry for the delay, y'all. Sorry for the delay.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah, man. We should have been here, man. But y'all know the vibes, man. Like, I hope everybody is having a prosperous day. Hopefully, this day has been good to everyone. Everybody is safe, and just getting ready to kick back, enjoy some basketball on TNT. It's 2 games tonight. Lakers and Celtics at 10 o'clock. I'll be paying attention to that. We got a stacked show for you all, man. Tommy Rees was introduced to the media as the Cleveland Browns' newest offensive coordinator for Kevin Stefanski. My man Cecil Shorts, the former NFL wide receiver, is going to do a breakdown on Travis Hunter. Of course, my Mel Kiper Jr. mocked Travis Hunter to the Cleveland Browns, man. The modern day two-way player. And then Bow Wow and Le'Veon Bell, man. Bow Wow and Le'Veon Bell got into it about who run Columbus, right? And so it got us to thinking, who do you think run the land, right? So make sure y'all, man, hit the notification, man. Share this, tell everybody to tune in. And if y'all got some early submissions on who y'all think run the land for real, throw them in the chat. We'll get to them later on in the show. Full disclosure, though, they have to be from the city of Cleveland.
From Cleveland.
Not
so Akron.
LeBron James do not count for this exercise, right? So people like Steve Harvey, is Drew Carey, right?
Yeah.
Stipe, like Kid Cudi. These are guys that qualify, right? Holly Berry. These are people that qualify for this. So, this was inspired by that. We'll get to it. I'll tease this now. I'm going to tell you right now, Cecil, it ain't Bow Wow or Le'Veon Bell that run Columbus, man. We'll get to that later on in the show.
Oh, I'm interested. I'm interested.
We'll get to that later on in the show, man. But of course, man, by now, the Cleveland Browns introduced Tommy Rees as the newest offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, man. And, he had a lot to say about the quarterback position. I just read some of the quotes that he had here. He said he wanted a decision maker at the position. He said QB has as much of an influence on the game as any position in the sport. And he talked about, a guy that fits his mold is a guy that can extend plays and make those type of plays. So he has clearly set a new tone on what we should be looking for when it comes to a quarterback. And when you talk about somebody that's that wants somebody that makes good decisions, I think we are talking long past, measurables, right? Combine warriors, guys that have all the athleticism, guys that have the strongest arm or even pinpoint accuracy. He wants a guy that's a true leader. It sounds like he wants a guy that understands with a high football IQ that, once I snap this football, I'm now the offensive coordinator and I need to be able to make sound decisions on the fly that can positively impact my football team. And so I think he kind of gave us, a profile of what the Cleveland Browns will be looking for as they go about revamping this quarterback room. Just your initial thoughts on Tommy Rees, what you heard, what you think, how you think this is going to turn out. Kevin Stefanski did announce he was calling the plays. And one more piece of news before you cook. This dropped before the show. Tom Pelissero, the Browns interviewed Giants assistant quarterbacks coach Christian Jones for their QB coach job today, per sources. Jones spent 3 previous seasons in Minnesota. So there it is. Stefanski will be calling the plays. He is open to handing it over if Tommy Rees earns that. He's the OC. Seems like they are trying to currently fill out that staff. Man, what's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I love that Stefanski came out and said, hey, before I believe it happened before Tommy started talking, like, hey, I'm calling the plays, I'm calling the shots, and I reserve the right to give it to him when I'm ready or if I want to, right? I think that's it right there. That's all I need to hear, period. Now it's no excuses. It's no pointing the blame. It's no nothing. Like, we know exactly who's calling the plays. I love it. Number 2, it also tells me they're either grooming Tommy Rees, right? They're grooming him for something that he can possibly take over. If not this year, let's say that Browns have a good year, everybody stays the same. Maybe it's next year or the year after that, right? But it also tells me they got somebody in mind. Because when Tommy was talking, it seemed like he has somebody in mind already, or he's thinking about a certain type of quarterback he's looking for, whether that's a rookie, whether that's a veteran. So either or, I feel like they got people in mind that they want to bring in, whether it's rookie, veteran, both possibly, right? But they have somebody in mind. Okay, this is what I'm looking for: a decision maker, somebody can make plays outside of the pocket, somebody that can extend plays. When I hear that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're really setting the tone for what you're looking for. You're setting the tone for how you're going to go about it, in my opinion, and you're setting the tone for who's calling the plays and who's calling the shots, right? So I love to hear from both of them. I thought they did a good job presenting themselves. I thought they did a good job being transparent and honest, right? Because now we know exactly who's calling the plays. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no question marks. Kevin came out and said it. Great. All right, now let's move forward and get some stuff done.
Yeah, I thought this was a huge difference from last year. If you recall, when Ken Dorsey was hired, it was this whole waiting game saga on who will be the Cleveland Browns play caller. But Tommy Rees seems to really understand the assignment. He seems to understand his role, and he's cool with that. He had an opportunity to leave here and possibly go with Vrabel to New England. And from what I've been told, he possibly had the opportunity to call plays there. The fact that Tommy Rees wanted Cleveland, wanted to be here, wanted to work with Kevin Stefanski, it goes a long way to what he and others think and feel about Kevin, right? He was totally on board with not being able to call plays early on. And typically, when somebody takes that promotion as an offensive coordinator, or if you were to hire somebody else, I'm pretty sure more than me, like, those guys coming into those roles, they want the opportunity to call plays because it can lead to a head coaching opportunity. From what I've been told, Tommy Rees is really respected around the NFL as the next bright young offensive mind. And I think Kevin Stefanski realized that and was, really reluctant to let that guy get out the building. He's a former college quarterback himself at Notre Dame, right? He has some NFL experience and he's been around the game. I think another thing that stood out to me today is when he talked about what he learned from being a tight ends coach, right? Stepping out of that quarterback room because that's the room that you're most familiar with, and then understanding the other nuances, the other moving parts, especially with the tight ends when it comes to run blocking, pass catching examples. So, with Tommy Rees, I think that there's an opportunity to marry some of Stefanski's like OG ways with this new age of how the game is being played, because Stefanski is a product of the Kubiak system, right? And though it's been impactful and effective in the NFL, it's outdated. Like it's just as old as you and I are, right? And eventually, man, you're gonna have to change up some things to keep up with the new pace, the new style, the new rules, etc. So for me, it's like, okay, you got a young cat, 32 years old, who might have some fresh ideas, who clearly has chemistry with Kevin right now. And okay, let's see if we can mesh some things together and then see what we can create. Because keep in mind, he said we need to create and design an offense that's impactful and caters to everyone, not just necessarily the quarterback.
So let me ask you this, because with Kevin saying he's calling the plays, but he's open to letting the reins go when that time comes, if that time comes, but also the impact that time is going to have, it seems like he's going to be working hand in hand and having, okay, we'll have this pass plays in, these run plays in, let's try this for this quarterback, that quarterback, whatever the case may be. Do you feel like Kevin really has the reins at number 2 to say, hey, I love this guy, bring him in? Do you think him and Tommy can be like, hey, this is our chance to bring a guy in who can fit what we want to do, or is it all on Kevin?
It's funny that you brought that up. So I ain't gonna mention no network, but I sent you the video. So Josh Cribbs, who he works for our opposition, responded to something I said a couple weeks ago, where I alluded to the fact that I believe when it comes to at least the quarterback position, Kevin Stefanski should be the guy with the final decision on picking that player. And Josh kind of said, that's basically setting him up for failure. I disagree with that, because I am of the belief that it was already two hands and it was too many hands in the pot, right? Too many people had too much say. I don't know this to be fact. My gut feeling tells me that Kevin Stefanski has a little bit more control than he has ever had throughout his entire tenureship with the Cleveland Browns. And I think that this relationship that's being built between him and Tommy Rees, I think it will be a collective effort to where if they settle on a mutual decision, regardless of what Andrew Berry and his scouts might say, I think when your offensive coordinator and your head coach is married to a particular quarterback, then as a GM, man, you kind of owe it to them to go out there and get that guy.
Man, I'm with you, and I think this listening to him talk, it makes me excited because it's a different tune. It's a different tune. They seem like they're on the same page. It seems like they're very upfront and bold. They're very transparent, and they seem like they have a plan in place that they're going to go out there and execute. And I think at number two, if they have a guy they love, if they have a guy they love, I think they're going to take him. I really, really do. And that's a big thing. If the OC and the head coach who's calling plays are on the same page, that's what you want. From top to bottom, if you look at the good teams, from top to bottom, the GM, the head coach, the OC, and the DC, for the most part, they're on the exact same page of how they want things to be ran, right? And they're able to work together from top down. They have that fluidity. That's a big deal. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, he also spoke to the quarterback. He didn't really say much about any of the quarterbacks. The media did a good job of trying to baiting him into getting some tea leaves. But of course,
out there.
He was at Alabama with Jalen Milroe, and this
Mm-hmm.
is what he had to say about Jalen. He said, as a person, I have a lot of love for Jalen, a lot of respect. Obviously, we went through an entire season together, and when you're the play caller and the quarterback, there's a great relationship there. But I'm not really going to expand much on anybody in the draft right now. And just know that I have a lot of love for Jalen as the man he is, and wish him all the best. So that was his only, take on that. So,
AKA, I love Jalen. AKA, that's my guy. AKA, if he's there at maybe 25, 33, somewhere there, I'm gonna draft him. That's what that means, y'all. Just throwing it out there.
So if you look at Jalen Milroe, man, you look at the 2023 season. This is where Tommy Rees was still in Alabama serving as the offensive coordinator compared to this previous season that he just completed, man. And it seemed like the numbers took a major dip in damn near every category, man, except for the rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. Jalen Milroe, is a guy that fans are starting to become intrigued with. Of course, if you take a Jalen Milroe, you're not drafting the quarterback with the second pick. Furthermore to that, I seen this earlier today, and I want your thoughts on this too. This was from the New York Daily News Sports. The Titans might be open for business, and that means the Giants may be the only one showing phone call away from trading up to number one. Now, we all remember the viral video of Shador playing pitch and catch with Malik Neighbors. So,
Yeah.
it kind of throws another wrench into this whole operation of, what quarterback will be available, who the Browns like, and things like that. So I know fans kind of got their thoughts on what the Cleveland Browns should do as far as trading down, staying where they are. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to draft the quarterback at 2. I think everything is signaling to the fact that the Cleveland Browns are going to draft the quarterback at 2. I think you got to start somewhere. And I think, to your point, I think they're going to identify somebody that they really, really like. And, that draft projections be damned. They going to draft whoever it is that they like. So before we move on, any final thoughts on this, man? Because you got something next for the fans about somebody that Mel Kiper said the Cleveland Browns should draft.
No, I want to talk about Kiper. I want to talk about the next thing we got going on. Break down.
For sure, man. Hey, man, me and Cecil want to thank you all, man, for tuning in every single week to the Ultimate 216 show, man. We decided to bless you all this Sunday at 11 a.m. with a special live show, 11 to 12 p.m., to where we are going to gather some of the rookies that's in this upcoming class and marry them with some of the veterans in this upcoming class and figure out what is the best bridge to rookie quarterback combination that we can come up with. So make sure you all tune in for that. Don't forget, man, like, subscribe, and check out the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show flagship show. So, Cecil, the other day, Mel Kiper Jr. dropped his first mock draft before we get to the draft in April, and he slotted the Cleveland Browns taking the dynamic two-way player Travis Hunter with the second overall pick. Here's his defensive stats, man. 36 tackles, 11 pass breakups. He had 4 interceptions, one forced fumble. You look at what he did on the offensive side of the ball, 96 receptions, over 1,200 yards, 13 per reception, man. And that should be average. That's my bad on that. And 15 touchdowns. You look at Travis Hunter, man, and I think honestly, he is this new age, new era two-way player that the NFL has not seen anything like. I think that, there's a lot of uncertainty on where he would, what position would be his primary position, whether that be cornerback or wide receiver. You've played the wide receiver position. The last time we did a breakdown, you did your first breakdown on Shedeur Sanders, and now you get the opportunity to break down his top pass catcher, man. So go ahead. Where you want to start? You want to start defense, offense? How you gonna cook?
Let's start on defense. Defense. And when it comes to Mel Kiper, when it comes to Travis Hunter, I understand where Mel Kiper was going, because this kid's a special athlete. And honestly, Earl, he's a rare athlete. I don't think I can, in my 37 years of living, I don't know if I have too many people in mind that can do the things he can do on going both ways and did it how he did it at that such a high level that he did it at. On the defense side of the ball, to me, just being honest with you, he reminds me of a Champ Bailey. 6'1", 185. The knock on him, in my opinion, what I have written down in my notes would be the slight frame and his durability, right? He did have an injury, his first year at Colorado, punctured, I don't want to say punctured lung, but had a serious injury on a late hit call, missed a couple games. But at that next level, that slight frame, that day in and day out wear and tear, he'll need to gain some muscle mass, and he can do that with that frame, right? And then some of his tackling technique. He made some big tackles this year, especially on the goal line, causing the fumble. And at times he can get lazy with this technique. He's so athletic. He's so able to cover any and everybody. Like, it's not a single person that he can't press, he can't play off, he can't do whatever with. But at times when you're that good and you're playing all offense and defense, you get a little lazy at times with the technique. So those would be my knocks on him. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Earl. On defense, and this is hard for me, I don't know if I want him as a cornerback or receiver, or mainly corner or mainly receiver. I don't know what to do. If he played corner, strictly cornerback, he would be an all-pro. He is that talented. It's nothing. I mean, when it comes to today's type corner, you want the longer type of cornerback. You want the guy that can get his hands on you and press coverage. You want a guy that can bait the quarterback, when it comes to coverages. And one thing he does extremely well is his IQ. His football IQ, understanding the route concepts, understanding his third down, their tendencies, right? It shows up on film because he watches film. He studies film, and it shows. He's running routes at times for the receivers. He's beating them to the ball, and he's using his length to his advantage. Like, you've heard Richard Sherman, you've heard other cornerbacks come out and say, like, hey, this kid can be an all-pro cornerback. Because he's long, he's rangy. There's not a single person he can't run with. He can play off. He can bait you and cover two. He can bait you, he can press you and then play cover three. He just does a phenomenal job at playing cornerback position. There's not a person that's going to run by him. If you do run by him, he's so long and lanky, his radius is able to knock the ball down and fight through it. And that's one more thing I think I saw at different times in different games that I'll say is a knock on him. Not a big one, because, again, he's playing both ways. And it's tough. It's tough to play both ways, and you're barely practicing. You're playing 150 plays a game. I don't think people realize how much 150 plays, 140, 130 plays is. That's a ton of plays in one game. There's moments where, Earl, if you catch the ball, instead of going through your hands and breaking it up or trying to get a late win and fight through it, he may do one swipe and that'll be it, right? And I've seen that multiple times, but this dude can lock people down, man. Like, he can literally shut the whole side of the field down. He could be your boundary corner in the NFL. That's how good I think he is. Now, on the flip side, as a receiver, when the boy touched the ball, it's he might score. Like, it's literally every time he touch it, what's he gonna do now? Is he gonna spin, break two tackles, and go for 80? Is he gonna run by you? Is he gonna do his flexible catching and arms everywhere? His hands are phenomenal.
Yeah, strong.
That's one thing that separates him on defense, right? That ball's in the air, he a receiver on defense. That ball's there as a receiver, he gonna go up and get it. Like, he's just unbelievable. Early this year, I don't know if it was Colorado State. I can't remember the game.
It was Colorado State. You talk about the play on the goal line.
on the goal line.
I
He's
know exactly what you're
twisted.
talking about. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like it's unreal what he can do. Now I think his ceiling is higher as a cornerback, but he's a good route runner. He's in the right space at the right time. He understands where he needs to be. Again, the film studies that he puts in shows. Like Dion and that staff did a good job of teaching these guys how to prepare for each and every game because it's showing. Shedeur knew exactly where he was going to be on certain routes. He knew exactly where he was supposed to be, right? And he knew. And one thing about I love when I seen stuff like this. This wasn't behind the scenes, but you would see stuff on Twitter. You would see stuff like when the camera's on the field during the game, Shedeur would get on Travis, or coach would get on Travis, and he'd be like, "Yes, sir. All right, let's go. I got you." Shedeur's like, "Hey, do you want the ball or not?" He's like, "I want the ball." "All right, then get open." "All right, I got you." And they're gonna make a play. So his number's being called. His number's being called, and he goes and still makes the play. Like, to me, that's the most pressure you can get. You're called upon each and every week to shut down their best receiver, to go out there and be the best wide receiver you got. And they know they got to stop you on offense and defense, and they still couldn't stop you. This dude is amazing. Now, again, I think he has a higher ceiling being a cornerback, but I can see him being a receiver. And I think when you look at the Browns situation, he could be a guy that could be your boundary, or he could be your field corner when you got Denzel to be the boundary corner. Or if Denzel is struggling, who knows what's going to happen with his concussions? You never know. But boom, he could be your lockdown corner. He could be your nickel. You could put him on the outside and move Newsome in or somebody else in at the nickel spot. He gives you a wide range of opportunities to do on the defense side of the ball. Now, if you look at him on offense for the Browns, you got Judy, and then you have Travis Hunter. Right now, Travis Hunter is probably your second best receiver if he joins the team. This is being honest with you right now. He's probably your second best playmaker. Maybe your first best, depending how much you want to use him and how much you want to put him out there. There's not a route he can't run. He's fast. He can stop on a dime. We already talked about his hands. He creates separation, and boy, gonna study film. Now, the questions I have, the biggest questions I have for the team that's going to draft him, say it's the Browns' situation, is a couple questions. Here we go. How do you manage his load? Because Dion understood the assignment. Mm-hmm. He didn't practice until Thursday or Friday. If he played Saturday, he was resting, he was recovering, he was doing treatment, he had all these things set up. He was at practice, but he was watching film, he was in the film room, but he was humble enough to give this kid the opportunity to be like, okay, I trust you to do your job. Will an NFL head coach who's 35, 45, 55, some even older than that, will they trust this 21, 22-year-old to take care of his body? Will they trust him to say, hey, we're going to let you have we're going to load manage you throughout the week if we decide to play you both ways, right? That's the question. Can they be humble enough? Can they move their ego out the way and really learn how to manage his load if you decide to play him both ways?
All right, so basically you're talking about managing a relationship. So before you move on to question number 2, because I think that's a great point. I think that, when you bring these young guys into your organization, it's not necessarily about managing a player. It's about managing that relationship and learning that individual, right? Because if you understand it, and maybe you should talk to his positional coach and talk to Dion if you was to draft a guy like Travis Hunter to see how he was handled. It sounds like to me, he's a young man that's very mature. He's a young man that really has earned, that trust and that respect to, okay, I know he's going to show up and I know he's going to do his job in the film room. I know he's going to do his job in the weight room, in the recovery room. And then when it's time for him to practice, I know he's going to do his thing. And then I'll get the rewards, on Saturday. In this case, it'll be on Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Monday. You know how the NFL is. So it's like, to hear that about him, that's very, very intriguing, right? Because everybody wants somebody like that on their roster that they can trust, man, that's going to show up, do their job, and don't have to be micromanaged, right? It's just a matter of, like you said, is this organization or any organization that's going to take him be willing to get their ego and their pride and take that and put that out the way so, they can have the success that they need to with this dude on their roster. So question number 2.
Just to piggyback on that real quick, like this hasn't happened before. Like Dion played a little bit of offense, right? Cordell Stewart was a slash. He played, but it was still one side of the ball, right? This kid here could literally be if he just only played cornerback, he could be a top 5 cornerback. If he only played receiver at Colorado last year, he could be a top 5 receiver, probably the first pass catcher taken. So the second question is, how do you use him? what side of the ball is he on, right? And that depends on the particular team. That depends on what you need. That depends on what do you think his best ceiling is. Where do you think you need him at mostly? But I would not just hold him to one side of the ball. I just couldn't do it. Maybe it's mainly receiver, and then they play a little bit of nickel at times, right? Maybe it's mainly cornerback, and then we got a package for him on offense. But he's too good of a playmaker, especially for a city like Cleveland, for a team like Cleveland, to not use him on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. Like that alone will put fans in the seats. That alone will get the fans excited. That alone, will somebody just put score points, that alone will help you score points, right? And one more thing, I think, before I end this breakdown of Travis Hunter, I think he's best fit for a small market. And I'm going to tell you why. This is not to get too personal. It's not to get too on the girlfriend situation. The type of kid he is, and you talked about it a little bit, he's a character kid, integrity. He's going to work hard. He cares about football. He's going to be focused on ball. Mm-hmm. And how he handled that situation with his girlfriend and the past or whatever the case may be, I don't want to talk about that. It showed me a lot because it's different going to New York and playing. Like TMZ and the tabloids and all this stuff, they're going to find every single thing about you, your girlfriend, your mama, your auntie, your uncle, and they're going to put it out there constantly. How he handled that girlfriend thing worried me a tad bit like, I don't know if he can be in a big market. So it may be best for him to be in a smaller market, be in a Cleveland type situation, be in a Tennessee type situation, be in a Jacksonville type situation, 3 teams in your top 5, right? Be in a New England type situation that, hey, it's a smaller market. You'll still be the man, still get your deals, all that stuff. You'll still play well, but you don't got to worry about all the off the field stuff as much. And that way, hey, you got guys in there that can mentor you. You got guys there that can help you through that process because it's a lot being a Heisman Trophy winner. It's a lot that comes with it. When it comes to receiver side, when it comes to DB side, I gave you Champ Bailey. When it comes to receiver side, right now he reminds me of a Devontae Smith type. The wiry, the long running, the great hands, the route running ability. So I think this dude is special. I would not be mad if the Browns drafted him at number 2. I'm not saying they would. I think me and you agree. I think we should go quarterback. But I'm not mad at Mel Kiper for doing this. He will be a heck of a player. He will be somebody the Browns fans would love and be excited about, and it would put butts in seats. And I think that's a win-win from on the field and business side.
I mean, clearly, when you trying to build a stadium in Brook Park, right, and you need to sell PSL, so you need players that's dynamic like that. You need guys that's gonna put butts in the seats, and guys like that, man, they show up, they sell tickets, and they make plays, man. So, just I guess my closing thoughts with it. The Champ Bailey comparison, man, that's a very, very strong comparison. Champ Bailey made it all the way to that to the Hall of Fame. I like the Devontae Smith comparison. Like, you know, we already know Travis Hunter is an elite athlete. He's the, you know, when I think of two-way players, right, I think of guys like Chris Gamble. You know what I mean? That comes to mind. I think about when we was younger, we seen Deion Branch do it a little bit, right? Of course, we seen Deion Sanders do it a little bit, but I've never seen nobody like this young man right here. And so as he kicks off his NFL career, man, wishing him nothing but the best. But I don't think it would be the right pick for the Cleveland Browns, man. I know a lot of people, they still on the Abdul Carter train. Like, I'll say this as we move on, man. Don't forget to subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Ring the bell to stay in the know for everything that we got going on. Every single player in this draft is a crapshoot, right? Like, Abdul Carter can be Myles Garrett or Aiden Hutchinson, or he can very well be Jadeveon Clowney or Chase Young, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Travis Hunter, he can be Sauce Gardner, or he can be what's his name? Dude that came out of Ohio State a couple years ago, went to the Lions, Okudah.
Oh,
Jeff Okudah. Yeah, he could be him.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, you can be a Kyle Pitts, right? Like, you could be this highly touted prospect and not live up to it. The NFL is a different beast, man. Like, I think that's what makes this process exciting, though, as you go through it, knowing, like, no matter how much somebody might, you know, look like they the top prospect, or, you know, they're showing themselves to be that, man, it don't really matter until you start playing on Sundays, until you get into an organization, and then you figure out what's going on from there. Yo, we got a couple minutes. Y'all failed in the chat. Shaking my head at y'all. Y'all failed in the chat, right? So we asked y'all a simple task. Who do y'all think run the land? That's all we wanted to know. Who y'all think run the land? Y'all sitting up here arguing about the number 2 pick. That bad job out of y'all. So we're gonna set this up again. I'm pretty sure everybody like man hip to what was going on. Bow Wow for whatever reason decided that it was a good idea to jump on social media and talk about man. I run Columbus, and you know I'm the most hottest dude in Columbus. And as a kid growing up, like the only thing I ever remember seeing him was his album cover had the Tim Couch jersey, but bro was always like repping Atlanta. So you come around spending the block talking about you from Columbus and you the hottest thing out of Columbus. And
bandwagon.
Then here come Le'Veon Bell, right? Le'Veon Bell come up out of nowhere talking about man, Bow Wow, you need to stop it. You ain't bigger than me in Columbus. Not full disclosure, right? Everybody know Le'Veon is from Columbus. You know, I don't recall really hearing Le'Veon really repping Columbus all like that. Not that he didn't, but it's not like he was on the forefront, like I'm from Columbus, Ohio, or anything like that. So it was just kind of crazy to hear them both going back and forth. But I set it up for you. Don't neither one of them dudes run Columbus, bro.
Yeah, who runs Columbus? Tell me.
Simone Biles. Simone Biles run Columbus, man. And if either one of these cats think they run Columbus over her, man, y'all tripping. Her money probably longer. She's the most decorated Olympian ever. What she got? 30? What she got? 32 gold medals, 43 medals in total. And y'all sitting up here talking about y'all run Columbus. Man, bad job out of y'all, man. What's your thoughts on that, man?
You know what? I forgot about Simone Biles. Like you can argue Simone Biles is the best athlete ever. Like you could literally put an argument together, right? You could make her resume, and put it up against anybody, male, female, whatever you want to be that day. You could literally say she's the best athlete to ever do her job. Like it's incredible what she's capable of doing. But it was hilarious just to watch Le'Veon Bell and Bow Wow go back and forth. Like I thought it was hilarious. I forgot Le'Veon was from Columbus. But when I think Columbus, I don't think Le'Veon Bell. I don't think Bow Wow. One thing I do agree with when it comes to Le'Veon, he was saying like, "Yo, you claim Atlanta. That's what you claim. Like
he claimed Atlanta,
claiming that in your music and everything. So like, I hate the bandwagon because Ohio State's in the going to the national championship and they won it. Now you hopping on the train again. Like, oh yeah, I'm from bro. Like just relax. Your family know where you from. Just chill and enjoy the game. You don't got to be out here like that because you making yourself look crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I definitely don't think Bow Wow or Le'Veon Bell when I think of Columbus. At all. You know, I think of Columbus. I think of Simone Biles. I think of Karis LeVert. You know, I think of Cincinnati. I think of Dave Chappelle. Like for whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like
Dave Chappelle, yeah.
Like I don't think of that, man. But like in Cleveland, we really don't care what happens. And it's Cleveland. Like it's Cleveland, then it's everybody else in Ohio.
Period. That's Cleveland versus the world. That's all that matters.
So, who you think run the land, right? Like who you think run the land?
In my humble opinion,
who
runs it? I would throw Teddy G Jr. in there, man. Like I think what he got going in the community with his Getting Elite. With the little league teams, with the higher teams, with the way he's in the community consistently, the way he made the league from the hood, the way he giving back to the
top 10 pick, right? Top 10 pick.
Yeah. I think he was number 9 to the Dolphins. Yeah, number 9 to the Dolphins. Played 13, 14 years. Yeah. I just think his resume lines up with a lot of people. I think how his community work lines up with a lot of people. So I would give it to Teddy G right now. But there's tons of people you can say, but the first person that came to mind was Ted Ginn Jr.
Okay, Ted Ginn Jr.
That's the first one that came to mind.
I'm just going back and forth with you, man, because like I was thinking on the entertainment side, right? And I thought like Halle Berry.
But see now my question is, Earl. What does run the city mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, is it the most famous person from the city? Or is it like, what's Halle Berry done?
Is it the most decorated person for the city?
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
You know, that's what make it interesting. Like somebody in the chat said Bone. Bone. That's a great one. Drew Carey. That's another
Drew
great one.
Carey. Yes, he claims Cleveland too. He claims Cleveland.
Arsenio Hall. That's another good one. Mayor B. Shout out to the mayor. Hey, mayor
Shout out
from
to
the
the
projects. Mayor from the
Hey,
projects,
he
and he
doing it,
really
ain't
do
he?
run the
Hey, he
city though.
doing it.
He really do run the city. So, hey, hey, Mayor B. probably like, man, what y'all talking about right now? But I'm from Mount Pleasant, and I'm the
Yay,
mayor.
facts.
I'm the mayor, but like. Like I don't know, man, because like Holly Berry, like her career, it's been declarated. Like Drew Carey, we know what he did. Think about the Leverts, right? You know what I'm saying? Think about Gerald Levert, right? Like
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey is another one that you can point to. Stipe, right? You know what I'm saying? Like one of the most like a UFC legend, and it's so many athletes and entertainers that put on, man. People. I know we missing some people, man. That's why we needed some help from the
Would you
from
put
the chat.
Jake Paul in
there? No. Hey, look, we got to put the Kelce's in there too, man. Because Cleveland Heights, man.
Yes,
Travis Kelce. All right, so Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is Kareem, but Travis Kelce is up there. Like right now. Like Travis popping right now.
Travis might be the one.
Travis might be that
Travis
dude.
can go anywhere and be okay.
Yeah.
Travis might be the one.
He be in the Heights. He be East Side. He be West Side. He be cool. But that's the same thing with Teddy G, man. Let's see like Kareem, Kelce Bros. Yeah. We miss anybody?
I don't know. It's hard, man.
Kid Cudi, Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh yeah, MGK. True.
Like, we said Bone. Bone just had the street named after him last year. So,
you know what, Earl? At the end of the day, our options are better than Bow Wow and Le'Veon Bell. That's all I'm gonna say. Like,
facts.
We got better options than everybody else.
Hey, and the Miz. Shout out to the Miz. How we forget the Miz?
There you go. Facts.
Shout out to the Miz, man. Hey, man. Shout out to Brogdon Evan for the $1.99 super chat. He said, man, we don't want Swifties in Cleveland. Hey, look, man. You take that up with Travis, man. You take that up with Travis. So leave him in Kansas City. I don't know. Yo, man, we appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for tuning in, man. We did a live show on a late evening side. Don't forget, like, subscribe, tell a friend, man. And be here Sunday, 11 a.m. as we take a rookie quarterback and marry them to a pending free agent and figure out what's the perfect bridge quarterback for the Cleveland Browns new offensive coordinator Tommy Rees and our head coach Kevin Stefanski. Until next time, be great, spread love. Remember, being great come with a price, and spreading love for that thing that there is priceless. We out. Peace.